Oh, hi. I've been waiting for you.
Can I ask you some spiritual questions?
Yeah.
What was your spiritual awakening like?
So it was really profound and it was really deep. I felt like I was myself, but clouded with a lot of fear and judgment and shame and just hatred and anger about life and about my past. And when I awoke spiritually, I awoke to something greater than myself, to a higher power, to source, to Mother Earth, to Gaia, and it made me understand my purpose in life.
And who are you now after that?
So now I'm definitely connected with my purpose. I'm much happier and I feel like I can just really be responsible, radically take self-responsibility and show up as the best and loving self that I can to other people.
Why so important radical accept your path?
Because it's the only path that we have. And if we don't forgive ourselves and if we don't have a larger understanding of why things happen to us and just accept it, then we aren't able to move on and we're not able to actually find true happiness within.
Where does your happiness come?
Well, I think it comes from being connected to nature and being connected to yourself on a deep level and just being connected to people and sharing love and being love. Or just whatever it is that brings you joy. It's actually just about living in the moment and finding peace with what is, with having aspirations for the future.
Did you lose your temper now? Or
oh yeah, no, I never do that. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, of course. I still get mad, I still get triggered, but when I do, the bounce back time of what the anger actually is about, I'm able to just actually sit with myself and just move through it a lot quicker.
What is your biggest fear?
This interview, showing my full self. No, I think it's just continuing to be seen for who I really am and speaking my authentic truth and knowing that and trusting that my work is helping someone to some degree on any level.
How do you manage to forgive yourself and others unconditionally?
I think that forgiveness is an ongoing practice, and I think that really being able to forgive the experience and let go of it and really get the teachings and the learnings of what it was here to teach you. Because once you realize the overall perspective of why things happen to you, why people come and go from your life, and you gain the learnings, then it's almost like you're completing a karmic cycle.
So do you think the key of forgiveness is love?
Yeah, maybe. It's love and it's letting go.
Love and letting go.
Yeah.
So what was the last time you say to yourself, I love you?
This morning. When I was in the shower, I was just really present with the warm water, and I just gave myself a hug, and I was just I love you a lot. So.
Why is so important to tell yourself that I love you, that you love us?
Because if we don't love ourselves, then how can we expect anyone else to? And if we deeply have a deep-rooted sense of love towards ourselves, and we understand that we are love, and we emanate that, then we understand that the people outside of us are just reflecting what we have inside.
If you have to choose one concept, just one concept to teach to all people in the world, what would it be?
Compassion. I think come from a place of curiosity. None of us are equal. None of us are alike. None of us see life through the same lens. Everyone has a different projection of the world. So if you come to a person with curiosity and ask them questions and get to know why they think the way that they do, as opposed to fighting and coming from fear, letting go of fear also, because fear creates division. And if you release fear, then you're able to be free and then have compassion towards yourself and then towards other people and really connect with unity.
So, is suffering a necessary part of human condition?
I think that suffering is an indicator that there's something deeper that's going on. And if we understand that, then we can pay attention to it and we can go into it and we can heal it. But then after that, if we still choose to suffer, then I believe that it becomes a choice.
What would be the best way for a person to attain happiness?
By truly just being grateful for what is in this moment. It doesn't matter if you want things in the future. I think it's letting go of the past and not letting it define you, and just being content with who you are today, right now, and finding gratitude in the little things, like the fact that that the sun is out and that love is possible.
Why do we have illusions?
I think that living in illusion is living in your ego. I think it's like it's not actually living in the today. It's not living in the present. It's not understanding that you have an opportunity to really shift now, or to just be grateful for what is. And it almost like puts your energy outside of you, and it's like it might be a form of escapism as opposed to just actually bringing it all back to self and just being present now.
Why do you think we are so obsessed with the future?
I think because we don't want to sit with ourselves. There's this discomfort in sitting with what's present for us right now. But if we learn how to do that, then I think that we can actually find more freedom and joy, because you can look at the stars or the sky and just be like, wow, it's so beautiful just because it is. And life can be beautiful just because.
What harsh truths do you prefer to ignore in yourself?
That I still put an enormous amount of pressure on myself and sometimes it doesn't allow me to rest. So I have to understand that as passionate as I am to produce and do and just not be patient with things, that slowing down is and enjoying life is actually just the key, because if you don't pay attention to yourself and to your energy, then how can you possibly give yourself to others?
That's true. What was the life lessons do you learn the hard way?
That just because you love someone doesn't mean that you should be with them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That life lessons we should have to learn the hard way, no?
Well, we don't have to if we don't want to. But yeah.
How can we detach of the idea of good and bad?
I think that just kind of taking away from being good and bad. Like if we start looking at life like a game, right? So we started from the bottom, like I was down there and now I'm up here, and we started from the bottom, now we're here, right? It's like life is a game. Like how can we just start playing life? You know, how can we stop judging the things that we do, shaming ourselves? How can we start seeing the choices that we make as maybe effective or ineffective? Like, oh, like life is the game, let me try this. Like, is it leading me towards something that feels good? Or is it something that's making me like, oh, like that actually didn't work out? So you're not getting like caught up in like the shame or the shoulds, like the shoulding yourself, right? It's just about living, it's about experiencing, it's about expanding your heart, it's about taking the risk, it's about just putting yourself out there, and then if it doesn't work, then you just do it again. But someone once told me that, you know, it's more important to love and put yourself out there than not do it at all, because that's how we grow. You know, how else are we gonna understand who we are and how to really meet ourselves if we're not willing to play?
What is that thing that you could do now that you couldn't did in the past year?
So I like to think of life as like stairs, right? So when you're on the first floor, your reality is what you're seeing around you, right? It's the first floor. And then as you start healing or ascending, then you start, you know, walking to the second floor. Maybe you start working with people or surrounding yourself with people that are on the fifth floor. And people that are on the fifth floor, like they can see what's on the fifth floor, but you can't see it because you're not there yet. So it's almost like just like trusting and understanding that as you grow and evolve, then like, you know, you're just kind of taking steps towards consciousness, and you're taking steps towards a different truth that was your existence, and then not being afraid to just continue to be in other floors that maybe have another reality, that are more filled with compassion and more filled with love and connection and unity. And if we see life like that, then maybe we don't get so caught up in our own minds. Does that answer your question?
Of course. And the last question is, how do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered as a person that gave opportunity for hope and change for the people that didn't think that they were capable of healing. That they just, for taking someone through a journey of like feeling unconditional love, of understanding that we are all love and that we're all light, and that as long as we really remove what's blocking us inside, then we can reach that inner peace and then enlightenment.
Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you.
being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.